For this next piece of Zero, we're going to Halifax, Nova Scotia. Back in the middle 90s, there was a huge discussion first about expanding a landfill, and the people didn't want that. And then they proposed an incinerator, and the people didn't want that either. And then at this point, the government of Nova Scotia said to the citizens, well, if you don't want landfills, you don't want incinerators, what do you want? And they gave the citizens the consultant reports and all the data that they needed to come up with their own program, which they did. And within 5 years, Nova Scotia has reduced the amount of waste going to landfills by 50%. Here, I'm going to share with you the first time I heard Barry Friesen talk about this program. It was during the launch of Target Zero Canada in Toronto in November of 2000. And I remember back to that day, and I couldn't believe it. I'd never heard a bureaucrat get as excited about one of these programs as you would expect from an activist or somebody working for an NGO. So I hope you will be as excited as I was at that time to hear Barry talk about the program. And then we got a little extra at the end, because at the end of his presentation, he told us that his son, his 9-year-old son, Justin, has made a little videotape himself. In which, amongst other things, he interviewed the Prime Minister of Canada, just 9 years of age. We've called this piece of Zero, Like Father, Like Son.
Nova Scotia is now the first province in Canada to achieve 50% diversion of solid waste. The only province to achieve the 50% diversion of solid waste by the year 2000. Isn't that great? Yeah. Seriously, and it's due to the industries and the people and the municipalities in Nova Scotia for that to happen. And by doing so, and by doing what we've done, we've created an initiative to develop whole new industries and solutions. Not just the environmental benefit that we get out of not creating that waste, but we have whole new industries. And we're also the North American leaders in solid waste resource management. We return more than 160 million beverage containers every year. That's an 80% return rate on all pop and juice containers. 100% of Nova Scotians have access to curbside recycling. 3/4 of the Nova Scotian residents have access to curbside collection of all organic material for composting. And when I say all organic material, not just leaf and yard waste, but all meat, fish, bones, the whole works of it is collected separately and from homes and taken to centralized composting facilities for composting. More than 900,000, almost 1 million used tires every year are diverted from our landfills for new resources. We have no open burning dumps left in Nova Scotia, and we have about 3,200 jobs associated, direct jobs associated with solid waste resource management. In Nova Scotia, we can process all of our newspapers, all of our corrugated cardboard, all of our organics, all of our glass, our paint, our plastic bottles we produce. We have industries, we have insulation manufacturers, wallboard manufacturers, and glass producers that all use resources that recover from the waste stream. We have new renovation and construction demolition industries that now, instead of tearing down a building with a wrecking ball, they disassemble it, either reuse or sell the materials for reuse and recycling. And there's many more businesses to come online. The economy has produced new forms of cooperation. We have a plant in Prince Edward Island that's looking to process all of the agricultural plastic film. It's becoming more and more common. In Newfoundland, they have another plant there that's being built to process a lot of other types of plastic films. Much of our glass bottles goes to New Brunswick to be reprocessed into new glass bottles and jars, not to mention we have glass industries in Nova Scotia that take other types of glass. And in Nova Scotia, we recycle all of the 4 provinces' plastic pop bottles. So if you think that our new way of managing solid waste resource management isn't a benefit, just ask the 3,200 families across our province who owe their paychecks to solid waste resources. There are 10 times more jobs in recycling than there is in landfilling. And so you have the added benefit of environment and the economy, and there's very, very few things that can happen where those two can go hand in hand. And one last point, you know, when you look at our children, you see what the recycling effort is all about. It's providing a better country and a better world for our kids. And it's about teaching our children and our children teaching us about how to protect the environment.
Hi, I'm Justin Friesen. Nova Scotia is a beautiful province. Here on the East Coast, we are fortunate to witness the beauty of life on both land and sea. When the first settlers came to Nova Scotia, their lives depended on Nova Scotia's natural resources. Fishing and farming were the backbone of our forefathers' existence. They fished and farmed simply to feed themselves. Soon they realized that other resources could enhance their living. Trees were used not just for construction, but led to a massive pulp and paper industry. Mines yielded many minerals and ores for steel and other product manufacture. But when you harvest without thinking of the future, resources will run out. Your means of making a living will end, and the natural environment, as you know it, will be changed forever. Nova Scotia has seen this happen. Some of our fish stocks are gone. Our mines have closed. We have toxic waste dumps and landfills, which will cost billions to clean up. Our jobs and economy have suffered. But Nova Scotia is turning the corner. Recycling and composting is one of the things that Nova Scotia is doing to stop these problems. We now have thousands of jobs in recycling and composting. Our problems with landfills and open burning dumps are almost a thing of the past. The rest of the world is also starting to take notice. I've spoken to a few of my friends across Canada. Here's what they had to say. Nova Scotia is leading Canada with its recycling and composting. What do you say to Nova Scotia for its hard work?
I congratulate Nova Scotians for the work they're doing.
I think we should say to Nova Scotia, well done.
Congratulations, Nova Scotia.
Good job, Nova Scotia.
I think you're right, Justin, to point out that it's young people who have the biggest stake of all.
I think what needs to happen in this country is changing people's perception on what garbage really is.
Hello, Justin. I'm sorry we did not get a chance to meet as planned, but I received your email and I will do my best to answer your questions. Like you, I am very happy about the efforts made by the people of Nova Scotia for the environment. I think that recycling and composting are two very important ways to help the environment, and that ranking first in Canada is something all Nova Scotians can be very proud of. Governments too can help, and we are working hard to keep our water clean, our air fresh, and to protect species at risk. But in the end, it's really people who can do the most for our planet by buying fuel-efficient cars, by using public transportation, and by recycling and composting. Just like you and so many other people in Nova Scotia. Congratulations to all of you, and keep up the good work.
Way to go, Nova Scotia! So you see, we're doing great, but this is just the beginning. We're 50% there. Let's get the next 50% so my kids have a future too. And don't just take my word for it.